Hi friends. I had a fellow Spoonie reach out asking about combating steroid symptoms and side effects. And so I'm responding to that. There's a lot of things at play when it comes to steroids. And again, I just want to reiterate, in case anyone is new here or doesn't read what I write below, I'm not a medical professional. Just literally a Spoonie with Addison's disease and some chronic pain and a couple other fun little things sprinkled in there, who's just learning to navigate as I go. And I'm just sharing what I'm experiencing and what I have learned and gathered and what has and has not worked for me, so that it can hopefully support other Spoonies and people struggling with the same things, because it's not fun to go through it alone, and because sometimes someone will suggest something that's just totally mind-changing or a game changer for you. So I want to do that for other people and help them. That's really my primary goal. So I think the first thing that goes with steroids, as someone who's steroid dependent, I have Addison's disease. I cannot go off of steroids. I use them to mimic cortisol in my body, which allows me to function, breathe, process, be a human. If I did not take it, I would die. That is something that was really earth-shattering in the very beginning. As someone who's super homeopathic, doesn't like doctors, doesn't take medicines, hearing that steroids was the only option was really emotionally exhausting for me. It took me a while to get over it. I wouldn't say that I'm over it. I think I'm just used to it now. And I would suggest the very first step, if you are steroid dependent, of combating the side effects of steroids is the number one thing is you have to get over the steroid guilt. Steroid guilt is something that you hear pretty frequently in the chronic community who are steroid dependent. It's real. It's absolutely real. You feel horrible. I can only share my experience. I felt horrible that I was dependent on a steroid that I knew wasn't good for me in other areas of my body, but knew it was necessary in some parts. So there's this constant battle of like, I want to take enough so I can live. But if I don't take enough, I am still struggling. I am in pain. I'm unable to function. I'm not really present in my life. If I take too much, I have way too much steroid in my body. It starts to sit and deposit and causes long-term damage on other organs and major body parts. So you're going this back and forth of like, I want to take enough to live. I don't want to take too much where I hurt myself. Where's the balance? And the guilt comes to play with stress dosing, which is what you do to handle any stressful situation, physical, mental, emotional. It can be as minor as getting a burn from cooking to as extreme as having a family member pass away and you're dealing with that emotional stress, or getting into a car accident, or having something very physically or mentally traumatic happen to you. But it can also be as minor as temperature change, which is where the confusion sets in. It's very hard to figure out your stress dosing pattern, and the steroid guilt for me comes in, well, I'm not able to function really well right now. I think I'm low cortisol. I want to take more, but I don't really want to take more steroid. Ugh. This like tiptoeing dance that you do with yourself over this line of what is too much steroid, what is too little, and it's bullshit. It has to go. I'm just going to say it as that. It's something I still battle with and I struggle with from time to time, but I think the first thing is the mental block of steroid guilt. It has to go. You have to get over that. Steroids. Ooh. You just have to get over it. Let it go. Sometimes Western medicine and medication is there to save your life. What you do outside of that to support it is all you can control. and letting that part go, that I can't control that I have to take steroids, and I'm not going to feel guilty about the fact that I'm putting steroids into my body, that lets go of so much stress over you. So that's the first thing I would say I'm going to do. I feel like this is going to be quite extensive and rambling, so thank you for your patience as I go through it. As far as steroid side effects, what I am aware of steroid side effects, I can share because it's what I experience. One component is osteoporosis. So long-term steroid use causes deterioration in bone mass. And I have osteoporosis predominantly in my spine and my hips, and due to steroid use, and I've only been on it for about 4 years now. How do I combat that? I can't not take my steroids, even though it is doing damage to my body. I combat with holistic manners as far as like weight-bearing exercises. So I go hiking a lot. I'm trying to get back into rock climbing because that used to be really big for me and really important to me. But I had to let it go for a while because it was too physically demanding. But I'm starting to rebuild stamina and ability to just do little climbs. And jumping on a rebounding trampoline, not one with springs, one with the cords, the bungee cords. That is great for your bones. I use like 2-pound weights, like super grandma mode, like walking around the block. Weight-bearing exercise is huge. And then bone supporting vitamins and minerals and foods. So I'm doing dandelion root tea. They're finding more and more research that dandelion root tea has more calcium support than almost anything else out there as far as food goes. So I'm trying to have a glass of dandelion root tea every day, finding all the foods that are calcium rich and consuming them heavily. In addition to that, I take vitamin D supplements. I also try to go out. I mean, I live in Texas, so I have a lot of sun opportunities. I try to soak up as much sun as I can every day. I also have a vitamin D lamp that I use next to my yoga mat, and when I'm stretching or meditating, I just turn it on. And so I'm getting that extra vitamin D enrichment while I'm breathing and being present in my body. So another component, and this is something that I haven't battled with, and I can only speak to what other people have shared or what I have seen or what I've talked to people about. And I have fellow Addisonians who've been frustrated with me because I don't experience it. And sometimes I feel like they don't believe me, or I don't know. And what I'm getting at is weight gain. That is not something that I have struggled with the steroids. And I think there's a couple things at play. And I think there's Addisonians out there who are just thin. And it's body type, it's lifestyle type. It's also just everybody's body is unique, and we have other chronic illnesses happening. We can't control what our size is, just as other people who maybe are gaining the weight from steroids can't control that. I can't control that I'm not. So I'm just going to share a couple things about that. I hope that was articulate. One, my genetic makeup. My mom is very slender. My paternal grandmother is as well, which is where I think you get your body type from. So I think just naturally I have a slender body. I can't control that. That's just normal for my DNA makeup. I also have a very active lifestyle for someone with a chronic illness. And by active, I just mean I move. I'm not running marathons. I don't run. I've never run. And I'm not doing stuff all the time. I'm doing, as my friend Tandy always says, tiny yet mighty things that build up and benefit you in the long run. So I stretch, I walk, I swim. I also hang out with kids a lot, and I'm picking up kids, and chasing children is really active and physically engaging. So I think that's another component to it. But also I eat so clean and so limited carbs, not because I do want to eat really healthy to support my body, but I have a lot of food intolerances that I attribute to a lot of my chronic problems. So a lot of things are limited to me. So yeah, I still get the steroid hunger, and yeah, I'm eating all the time, but I'm eating like pounds of carrots and a ton of kale and white rice with veggies. Like I'm not eating the typical things that I think sometimes, and I can't speak for everyone, but I think sometimes, sometimes I wish I could. I wish I could just open a bag of chips and like go nuts, but my body doesn't tolerate that. And so I think because I'm not doing those things, I'm not eating really heavy calorie foods. And so by default, my body's not gaining that additional weight. Yeah. Okay, so bones, weight, organ damage. I don't know the science or know exactly what organs are being affected when we take steroids, but I do know there's some kidney and liver stuff going on. Now, ways that I combat and support that is I drink a ton of water. I drink so much water. I know we all do. I'm drinking a ton of water, trying to flush things out. I do a lot of magnesium. I think of the word Epsom salt baths, which are like detoxes. And I don't drink. I know a lot of people with chronic illness do, and a lot of people just do, and it's totally a lifestyle choice. But I don't drink, I don't smoke. I did do those things in a past life. We're all human, we're all people, and I did those things for a while when I was much younger, and it's just not worth it to me at all. Why would I do anything to damage my already damaged body? But that's my personal choice, and I'm not shaming or blaming anyone who does those things. I'm only sharing what I do. So I choose not to drink, mostly because I just don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel, and I have to have days to recover. Not worth it. And it does long-term damage to my body, which I'm already doing just surviving. So I eliminate habits that could cause more detriment to my body. And then I think the last component about it, at least that I can think about right now, I know there's so many things and things that I'm not even touching. So please share what you experience with steroid side effects and what you're doing to support that, or what you've learned, or whatever. Just share. I was just going to say the mental thing about it, which kind of ties back into the steroid guilt at the beginning. Just getting into a good headspace and clearing your mind, which is a lot harder to do. And as a yogi, and I've been meditating for years and practicing mindfulness for years, it's with the chronic illness, it's very hard. But I had a friend this year who shared a mantra with me that has been totally game-changing. And it sounds very silly. And when she told it to me, I kind of thought it was stupid, to be honest. But I cannot tell you how much I've been utilizing it on a daily basis, and I'm not taking in any of the additional stress or anxiety of anyone around me now, which is so soothing. I'm sleeping better, I am feeling better, and the normal anxiety and fatigue that I have is not really there. I also did just recently get glasses, and I think that's helping, and I didn't realize that I so severely needed them. But the mantra is, not my monkey, not my circus. Meaning you don't have to take on this person's monkey business. You don't have to take on the circus they're performing in. You can acknowledge it and see it, but you don't need to take it in as your own. I'm a huge empath and an energy worker. I do Reiki for people and a healer, so I find that I constantly take on other people's energy. And this little mantra of not my monkey, not my circus, has been very mentally supportive for me of allowing other stress to just roll off my back. So I'm sharing it in case it can support you. Again, sounds really silly, but I have been putting it to play, and it has been really supporting me. Let go of the steroid guilt. Support your bones. Lifestyle choices and food choices can support weight. I am not saying that it will make it go away. I don't know. I do not have the experience with it physically happening to me. And I can only share my observations or what I do. And mind over matter. That's pretty much it. Please share what works for you, what's going on. I know this was rather long, and I appreciate you being here with me. And my cat says it's time to go, that she needs her food. So thank you guys so much, as always. I appreciate you being here. I'm so grateful for this space and this community, light and love, and all the spoons, and I hope you have a wonderful day.